Alright, what's going on, guys? Bubbles back again, and I haven't done a should you summon on this banner, which is kind of crazy. But honestly, now that I've played with all three of the characters, I've played with all three of them at max transcendence T20, I figure I might as well can give my personal take on whether or not you should summon, which the obvious answer is yes. Obviously, duh, you should summon. But let's just quickly, I want to break down each of these characters, what I like about them, what I don't like about them, etc. Right? So let's just start off in order. Let's go with Balgo and Asushi. Now, all these characters are going to be no affiliation units, and they all have, in my opinion, very, very wonky killers. You see here, Balgo has Quincy and Human Killer, but at the very least, he's not completely hampered by that fact because he does have increased status element chance against all heart attribute enemies, and he's also a farmer in literally all content in the game for the most part. We have IT, IZ, and Droplet Zone, Epic, and Epic Raids, because he does have potions, super potions, as well as increased link slot. Increased droplet percent, which is actually really good. Personally, I don't know why they give potion, super potion coins. I forget which character got that, but I was so upset. I'm not even gonna lie, I was pretty upset because I can't really run them in epic raids because I'd rather just get. I really need droplets. Actually, I don't really need droplets. I just end up farming it so much for no reason, to be honest. Either way, Balgo, going into his actual skills, you see here he has Sprinter +2, no long stride. He has Sharpshooter. All these characters will have Sharpshooter / Marauder, which means that they all have Guard Break and they all nullify melee / range resistance, which is excellent for content like Extreme Co-op because you're no longer restricted to being 3rd seat for a good drop rate on Extreme Co-op. It's going to be 7th seat and up, and that's, in my opinion, very, very accessible. Like, I'll fart in myself into 6th seat, so that's pretty damn good. Getting into 7th seat, not really all that hard in my opinion. You just need to have a brain and maybe actually summon for some characters that aren't garbage. So then he also has Frenzy +1, which is kind of unfortunate, but he also has Havoc 20%. His Frenzy +1 isn't too bad because of the increased status element chance. This character also has Weaken and Drain, which is freaking awesome. And when he procs his status elements, which is very easy to do because of his second strong attack being Vacuum Pushback Range Collision, you're getting a lot of hits on that. He also has status element spiritual pressure boost. Depending on the type of content you're running, if the enemies don't die right away, chances are he's going to proc his status elements through his second strong attack. I want to say 80 to 85% of the time, and then his first strong attack, if his second doesn't work, his first and third strong attack should help solidify that increased status element spiritual pressure boost plus 80%. His damage is kind of nuts because this character also has bombardment. He doesn't have devastation, but the bombardment, along with the fact that this character has Weaken, and then he has the revive mechanic, which is excellent for epic raids and IT Ultra and Extreme Co-op. You can actually auto Extreme Co-op without caring and just pop your soul bomb right off rip. And honestly, that's only for your allies, because I feel like if this character is built bulky enough, you should be able to auto Extreme Co-op by yourself. Like this character having Weaken and Drain and increased status element chance in content like Extreme Co-op means this character is always healing, the enemies are always dying, and he should perform just fine. I really like this character. Frenzy +1, Berserker 40%, so you're getting a bit more extra damage there. Debilitator +5 seconds for the Drain and Weaken. Increased status element chance, spiritual pressure boost, bombardment, bro. Like, this character is really, really, really good. He's just built well. He has a 750 AoE distant for strong attack, the vacuum pushback, second strong attack, same as Tokinata if you're familiar with Tokinata. If you're not familiar with Tokinata, think Retsu, Azashiro, those characters. And his third strong attack is just standard full screen third strong attack. And that's pretty much when it comes to him in a nutshell. I don't know what this character actually gets for Arena. I haven't really cared for Arena in a long time. Especially since KLab decided to ban like 20% of their player base and unban only 15% for just playing the game. He picks up Poise, and that's about it. Nothing too crazy. Alright, so next let's talk about Macy. Macy, a lot of people are arguing about Macy versus Bruno, Macy versus Bruno. Who's better? Honestly, I don't care. I'm not even gonna lie, I don't care. You're using them in different places, right? Like it's like you're not gonna make me choose between my sister and my brother, right? I'm not gonna like they're completely different people. Going into the Macy though, she does have a no affiliation killer. She has a crazy, crazy, crazy soul bomb. She has squad 0 killer, which with bombardment and weaken. No, excuse me, no, that's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. She has a crazy bomb, but it's not bombardment. We'll talk about that. So no affiliation killer, squad 0 killer. I'm cool with the no affiliation killer. I feel like KLab does a good enough job at putting two types of affiliations in quests nowadays, so it's kind of like nice to see some characters get killer. Sometimes they get both, sometimes they only get one, but at the very least, no affiliation killer isn't actually bad anymore. Strong attack recharge 12%. Her innate skills, she gets Sprinter +1, Sharpshooter. Very, very, very good. We already talked about that with Balgo. Next, going into her actual strong attacks, we have Paralysis and Weaken. Paralysis and Weaken is so good because it's like roofing the enemy, bro. It's like you hit them, they go to the club, they order a gin and tonic, and you go bloop, bloop, and then you just pick up your quest rewards. Next, her first strong attack is the 18% modification first strong attack. Second strong attack is going to be the 960 AoE distant homing vortex. If you've played with 5th anniversary Byakuya in 2023, you already know that he's garbage. But imagine if he had Paralysis, Weaken, Frenzy +2, and if he procced the status element, which he doesn't have any, he also got access to Spiritual Pressure Boost 80%. This girl hits incredibly hard once she procs that, and since she has Frenzy +2, even though she doesn't have increased status element chance, she procs it almost all the time. I don't think that there was more than 3 18% mag first strong attacks that I popped off in Ultra IT into like a group of like 3 or more enemies where I didn't get my Spiritual Pressure Boost. Occasionally she'll miss the Spiritual Pressure Boost, but she still has Frenzy +2, which is still really good damage. And since this character has Frenzy +2 and a Berserker of 40%, you're hitting hard without the Spiritual Pressure Boost. The Spiritual Pressure Boost is just like, you find out that she's a Futa, and she has a bigger thing than you. That's literally all that happens, which is really good. Well, I guess really good is subjective, but she also has Devastation 40%, and she also has damage to paralyzed enemies, damage to weaken enemies 40%. Those two together give a 80% damage increase. So even though she's not getting a bombardment levels, even though she's not getting bombardment, if you calculate in a normal character that has weaken defense, because she has weakened defense, and then devastation, and then you have bombardment, right? So let's just say we deal a base damage of 100. We do times 1.3 for weakened defense, times 1.5 for the weakening, times 2 for the bombardment. You're getting roughly like 390. So we're gonna multiply this. Bombardment. Let me not be cheap. Let me actually do the proper calculations. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to speed through this, but realistically, you can't really speed through like calculations like this. Otherwise, it's gonna come out wrong, and I don't want to come out wrong and give you guys false information. That's not what I want to do. So 1465 is gonna be the base damage if the first hit would be 100 damage. And that's because of the increases in damage. That's a normal character with weakened defense, and bombardment. Okay, this character, when we calculate it, she has 100. She only has 4 hits total. So we have the 100, multiply this by 1.4, because that's devastation. That's going to be the first hit. And then we can calculate in the 140. We're going to multiply this by 3, multiply this by 1.8, multiply this by 1.3 for the subsequent hits. And then that's not even taking into account the Spiritual Pressure Boost 80%. That's going to give roughly a 65% damage increase. So this is going to get added into the 140. So if she didn't have, let's assume the enemy is completely immune to all status ailments, you're still dealing 1100. Actually, that's a lie, because that's a lie. Because you have to have the Spiritual Pressure Boost, which is like roughly a 60% increase in damage. Let's keep it moderate, because usually sometimes it'll go up to 70% times 1.4, and that's going to be with the devastation. So your base damage is going to be 224. Multiply this by the amount of hits, multiply this by the weakened defense, multiply this by the weakening, multiply this by the damage to weakened and paralyzed enemies, and then we're going to add in the original 224 for the initial hit that you even hit with, and you're dealing more damage than a normal character that has weakened defense, bombardment, and weakening. Did I do that right? No, I didn't do that right, because this is going to get times 1.5 plus 140. There we go. And now we do 2582.7 divided by 1614.2. I didn't calculate in the weakening, so that's my bad. All right, so we're dealing 60% more damage than a character that normally has bombardment, weakened defense, and weakening. compared to this character. This character's soul bomb is absolutely nuts. Just keep in mind that she doesn't have bombardment, so she doesn't have several hits. She has 4. So if there's like 3 waves of enemies, remember that 3 of those waves, if they die in the first hit, those guys aren't even being affected by the damage to paralyzed enemies and weakened enemies. So very, very important to note. Either way, usually I see people giving this character an extra weakened defense and full stamina damage boost, so that weakened defense goes to like 1.6. And yeah, overall, I think she's excellent. Like, she's like 5th anniversary Byakuya. 5th anniversary Byakuya got resurrected and given a bunch of Ritalin. Right, so next, going into Bruno. Man, he looks like he plays Call of Duty, dies, rages, throws his controller at his TV, and then throws the whole TV at his wife. He has no affiliation all 3 of them. Now, for his killers, he has Hollow Killer, which is the first since like Mugetsu, which is actually kind of crazy. I mean, I guess we did get Heart free-to-play Ichigo. Actually, the Heart free-to-play Ichigo is not horrible. I mean, he's actually playable, which is kind of sad, but whatever. So he's anyways, he's the first character with like having 20% that ended up getting Hollow. He has an Espada Killer, which is really good too. This character has weaken on all of his attacks, which is awesome. Strong attack recharge and 12%. Now, where this character goes off is just the amount of power that he puts out. He has Marauder, just like the other 2. He has Guard Break and Nullify Resistance. His in particular is melee resistance, excellent extreme co-op, which we talked about earlier. Sprinter +2 and long stride, so he doesn't need sprinter. So usually you're going to see people give him stuff like weakened defense. You might see people give him damage to weakened enemies. I've seen that. I don't particularly like it. I like getting immediate value through the weakened defense for other types of content. I feel like damage to weakened enemies, it's not bad. Actually, now that I think about it, because you only have 1 soul bomb and he's not really a nuker. He hits hard, he's not a nuker. Either way, quickly going into what he has. Now, he has the gauge mechanic built into his stuff, but let's talk about the raw damage first and foremost, so that way we can get that out of the way. This character has Frenzy +2, and he has Berserker 40%. That alone means that he's going to be hitting incredibly hard without status ailments to begin with. He's completely immune to all status ailments, and he has Debilitator +5 seconds. Going into the gauge mechanic, he actually starts his gauge at 70%, which means that he gets this 30% strong attack recharge relatively quickly. If you pop off your first, second, third, and then maybe even your soul bomb, or pop off your first again, the next strong attack that you get, you're immediately getting strong attack recharge 30% to all the cooldowns of your strong attacks, which is awesome. Gauge effect, heal 30%, so you heal yourself by 30% HP, so it's very easy to keep your full stamina damage boost on this character. I found that very, very, very cool when I was playing with mine in IT Ultra IT Co-op. At 1 out of 5, I thought he was performing incredibly well. Increased strong attack damage, devastation 40%, very good with the weakening. But talking about the gauge, I just want to talk about the gauge. Starting off at 70%, you get access to the strong attack recharge, heal, and unlike other characters, when he pops off his gauge, not only does his strong attacks get doubled thanks to the Berserker 100%, which isn't a real Berserker, it's literally just multiplying all your strong attack damage by 2. He also picks up decreased damage taken 20%, but where he gets kind of crazy is he gets a spiritual pressure boost. Every single character in this game has spiritual pressure boost 50 to 80%. Balgo and Macy are 80, this character gets 50, but only during gauge, which, like I've talked about, he gets his gauge very easily. And what's really cool about the gauge mechanic now is, I don't know if it was in the past, but as your gauge is depleting, you're filling up your gauge as well. There were some times where by the time my gauge ran out, my gauge was already at 50%. That is stupid. That is so stupid, because that means like by the time I pop off like 4 more strong attacks, or even pop off my soul bomb halfway through there, he's gonna have his gauge ready to go again, and then you keep recycling your strong attack recharge. This character with strong attack recharge pops off so well. Honestly, if you can stack him with strong attack recharge full stam links, or strong attack recharge, strong attack damage links, I feel like that's definitely going to be the 100% way to go with this character. Either way, I love this character. His first strong attack is the 750 AoE distant. No, actually his first strong attack is the vacuum explosion, like Artbook Ichigo. His second strong attack is going to be the 960 AoE distant, unless I'm like completely... Let me just pull it out, I want to be 100% sure. And his third strong attack is just a standard full screen third strong attack. I actually really like playing this character a lot. I'm pretty sure it's a 960, I'm not tripping, right? Yeah, 960 AoE distance second strong attack. So you got some good range on there too. Personally, the character that I've found most fun for me probably has been... I'm not gonna lie, I like Bruno and Balgo both very, very much. I like Macy a lot. I think I had the most fun with Balgo, funnily enough, and that's just because I think that I haven't had a good mind unit in so long, and that's coming from a place this is coming from a person who has the 7th anniversary Ichigo max transcended, because I was stupid enough to go crazy and try to max transcend him fast enough, and then I realized, dang, that first strong attack is not fun. This first strong attack is doo-doo, bro. So yeah, it's been a while since we got a really good mind character. I think the last one was like Mind Ulquiorra, but I didn't pull him. Like, where's Ulquiorra at? Yeah, I've only pulled the power one so far. I'm glad that these guys are premium pull. There's a higher chance that you'll probably pull one of these premium pull Ulquiorra over the Balgo if you summon on the banner. But realistically speaking, I think that this banner is 100% worth summoning on. You still have access to Christmas Ninny, Christmas Noel, both super potion units as well. Red Power Bruno, in my opinion, still pretty damn good. Mine Noel kind of has fallen off, but I still like her kit to begin with. I actually use her. I gave her at T20 Reed No Affiliation Dodge and Reed Soul Reaper Dodge, and that is so that she can actually farm heart scrolls for me, so like medium and small heart scrolls. And Tech Ninny, I think Tech Ninny is still pretty fun to play. You have the vacuum pushback like Balgo for the second strong attack, or first strong attack is a 40% mag. These characters are kind of underpowered, but I mean, at the end of the day, they're collab characters, and at least they're limited, so it's not like too bad. And then of course you still have the best in my opinion, Burn the Witch character, because he's not limited, and that of course has to be the one and only Artbook Ichigo.